There was a mention of BBC doing a church plant. How is the church plant progressing?
The church plant is progressing by, back to 2 Timothy 2:2, entrust these things to faithful men, that they may be able to pass it along to others also. So, the plan for church planting is training up and raising faithful men, because you can't really see a church, progress. And even when you look at the book of Titus, I call Titus the church planter's manual, because you have a group of people on the island of Crete, so they're believers. They're gathering together, so they're a church, but they don't have leadership. So Paul leaves Titus in Crete to set things in order. And how is he to set things in order? He's to raise up leadership, identify and appoint leaders. So that's what you have, the qualifications given in Titus chapter 1. So the way that you would see a church, being formed, established, set in order, is to really set the men in order, to get the right leaders in place, entrust these things to faithful men, and allow them to pass these things on. So really the plan that we have right now for church planting isn't as much like, hey, let's just kind of, get the map out and we're going to target that area and this is what we're going to do. It's really to just see the men being raised up. And, like yourself, which is one of the things that we've talked about. There's others that might have desires to become senior pastors, and we want to see them, trained. And, maybe there's a group of people, right here from the church that could be sent out, and raised up to go out with a guy who's been prepared and who's been proven, here in the ministry. Or maybe there's just a group of people that, we identify that might not be a part of this church, but they're looking for a faithful, church. Maybe it's a church that's folded for one reason or another. Another church that might just be looking for leadership, to come in because their pastor's gone home to be with the Lord and they need a faithful guy. Or maybe there's we find out that there's a Bible study meeting somewhere and they don't even know, that there's a church here. And it's like, hey, we're on the other side of town. Is there any way that you can help us? We've been meeting for a while. We really love like a qualified guy to be sent. That's how so many people get connected with Grace Advanced, out in California, Grace Community Church. So maybe there's a group of people that we find that it's like, hey, this would be a group that we want to support and, get a guy plugged in. After they're vetted, of course, we don't want to send anybody in, kind of blind. But yeah, if we identify the right guy and the right, situation, I would love to see us getting the church plant started. And I really believe that's where you find the Great Commission being fulfilled. Because when you think about the Great Commission, to make disciples, like that's what the Great Commission is about. The go ye therefore in all the earth and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey all that I've commanded you, and lo, I'm with you always, even till the end of the age, right? So you think about the components of the Great Commission, right? Going therefore and making disciples. Where does discipleship happen? It's in the context of the local church. Where does baptism happen? In the context of the local church. Where does teaching happen primarily? It's in the context of the local church. So the Great Commission actually implies that there would be church plants, that there would be local churches that would continue that work of discipleship, baptizing, teaching, and continuing to send people out. So I really see the planning of churches as the fulfillment of the Great Commission. So that's why we're committed to it, to seeing the Lord do that right here in our area, and then other areas around us as well. So yeah, definitely thankful for the men that the Lord has sent to us, and looking forward to where's that place going to be where we can multiply ourselves and see another BBC plant, or whatever they want to title themselves, BBC North, South, East, West, whatever. They could be another church and don't even have to have the name BBC attached to it. But we definitely are committed to seeing the Great Commission continue, and it's through the local church and the planning of local churches.